The War of 1812 was a defining moment in the history of our nation. Had the war ended differently, Canada as we know it would not exist. The War of 1812 produced a long list of Canadian heroes and heroines who helped defend our country in a time of crisis. Today's video will focus on Laura Secord, the heroine of Beaver Dams. Laura was born in Massachusetts in 1775. At the age of 20, Laura moved with her family to Upper Canada with promises of land. Shortly after, Laura married British settler James Secord and moved with him to Queenstown in the Niagara region, where they raised their 7 children. During the War of 1812, James Secord served under the British General Isaac Brock. However, James was severely injured during the Battle of Queenston Heights and spent the remainder of the war recovering. In 1813, the Americans invaded the Niagara Peninsula, taking hold of Queenston. The Secords were forced to provide housing to a number of American soldiers during the occupation. One evening, Laura overheard the Americans plan to launch a surprise attack on the British troops, led by Lieutenant James Fitzgibbon. While her husband was still recovering, Laura made a decision to warn Fitzgibbon. Early the next morning, she stole away from her home and made the historical 32-kilometer walk, which saved many British and Canadian lives. With her information, the British were able to prepare for the attack and were victorious at the Battle of Beaver Dams. Had she not made this brave decision, the Americans would have gained further control over the Niagara Peninsula. However, it was not till the 1860s, 47 years after her walk, that Laura was given £100 for her service. Her family had greatly struggled after the war, and the reward was a little too late. Since her death, Laura has received much more recognition for her bravery. When we see her name, it should remind us of the impact one person can have and the courage within us all.